Earth. More than 7 billion people share space on this planet. By 2045, experts believe the numbers will approach 9 billion. And counting. And yet, the planet isn't getting any bigger. Now more than ever, conscientious minds are pressing to answer questions about sustainability. Can we change our way of life so that we only use renewable resources? Can we eliminate the word waste from our vocabulary? Can we truly preserve this planet, the only planet we have, for future generations? Conceptually, the answer is yes. But in practice, sustainability has remained rather elusive. We know the keys to a greener world, but making them real seems largely out of reach. Until now, at a place called BioTownAg in the heartland of America. BioTownAg is a real multi-acre production farm and livestock operation in rural Indiana. But it's also sustainability in practice, where a closed-loop agricultural production cycle leaves literally nothing to waste. And a greener world is a living reality. BioTownAg began as an idea when the Indiana State Department of Agriculture, under, at the time, Governor Mitch Daniels, had the vision to change the paradigm of the farming community relationship, one in which agriculture could extract more value out of its food production process by turning its waste streams into energy for an entire community. Today, that vision is being fulfilled, as the BioTownAg farm has the capability to produce 120 megawatt-hours renewable electricity every day, enough to power more than 4,000 homes, more than double the capacity of the nearby community of Reynolds, Indiana. In the process, every year, BioTownAg saves nearly 44,000 tons of CO2 emissions from coal-fired power plants, nearly 128,000 tons of material from landfills, and 36.5 million gallons of wastewater from treatment plants. But that's just the beginning of the BioTown sustainability story, because it's a story that's forever evolving and being retold as on-staff engineers and technicians continually seek new ways to reclaim and recycle in a sophisticated operation. This sophisticated operation is a full-cycle, closed-loop process with a starting point anywhere along the way. But let's begin literally at the entrance to the facility. Here, byproducts come in from food production companies, grocery stores, and other similar commercial operations throughout the region. These are leftover food-grade materials otherwise destined for landfills. But with BioTownAg as the alternative, these companies have a greener disposal option, one that creates a win-win for everyone. Because while the companies are able to fulfill their own corporate sustainability policies for waste reduction, BioTownAg is able to put their byproducts to use in several ways. Some of the material goes straight to another phase in the BioTown process, to be explained in a moment. But much of the material goes to the next phase in the sustainability loop: BioTownAg's livestock operation. At any one time, the BioTown farm raises around 4,500 head of cattle, along with 9,000 head of swine. As part of a high-quality feed program for its livestock, the farm mixes select incoming food byproduct materials with its existing silage and forage crops. Altogether, this represents a critical component in the production of premium beef and pork sold to packing companies, which in turn stock grocery store shelves with quality meat products that eventually wind up on the plates of hungry families around the world. Now, naturally, livestock production yields its own byproduct. But here is where BioTownAg is really changing agriculture, breaking barriers to achieve sustainability. when the continuous waste streams associated with raising livestock would traditionally go to rivers and landfills. BioTownAg instead reroutes these waste streams to an on-site 7.2 million gallon fuel factory in the ground called an anaerobic digester. It's called a digester because, quite literally, it functions just like an animal's stomach. Inside a healthy stomach, live bacteria break down biodegradable material like food. The bacteria can only survive in an environment that's completely without air, hence the term anaerobic. Just like a stomach, the digester is completely airtight sealed and teeming with these important bacteria. At BioTownAg, operators take the incoming corporate byproducts mentioned earlier, the material that does not get mixed into the livestock feed, and merges it with the livestock waste. Altogether, these materials are channeled into the digester, where they become something far more valuable. As the digester goes to work, breaking the material down, it yields two separate commodities: a natural combustible gas and an organic, nutrient-rich slurry product. First, the gas. BioTownAg's system extracts the combustible methane, which is then cleaned, prepped, and piped to the facility's engine room. There, it's burned to run 5 generators. Amazingly, these generators run non-stop 24/7 with the capability of 120 megawatt-hours of power every day directly into the regional electric utility network that serves the surrounding communities. But being a closed-loop process means exploring every nuance of efficiency in operation. For example, some of the gas is also recirculated back into the bottom of the digester to continuously agitate the material inside in a method of simulating the necessary boiling effect. Again, just like an animal's stomach. Meanwhile, the heat dissipated by the working generator isn't wasted either. Technicians have devised a method to recapture that heat and redirect it back to the digester as well, in an effort to maintain the system's necessary 101 degree Fahrenheit temperature. At the same time that all is going on, the slurry product also coming out of the digester is processed as well, by a mechanized separator. It happens in what's called the clean water room, and it's yet another important phase in BioTownAg's unique sustainability model. Foremost in the process, BioTownAg is able to extract a high-value natural fertilizer in both a liquid and solid form. These fertilizers are then land-applied on nearby corn and soybean farms. What's so encouraging about the material is the impact it has, not just on the grassroots level, on local farms, but potentially on the broader plane of the Earth's agricultural landscape. This is because, unlike commercial fertilizers, also known as NPK for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, BioTownAg's natural fertilizer includes micronutrients inherent in virgin land. Nutrients like sulfur, magnesium, zinc, and other essential minerals that over the last 50 years have been slowly and methodically stripped away by production agriculture. The remarkable result of adding these micronutrients back into the soil is already evident on local farms where BioTownAg's material often outperforms commercial NPK applications. But imagine, what if the BioTownAg sustainability model became more widespread, replenishing these nutrients back into soils on a larger scale? Imagine the impact it could have on agricultural stewardship and productivity worldwide. Further, BioTownAg's process is also primed to significantly reduce the depletion of natural nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium resources mined for commercial fertilizers. In fact, in addition to the annual carbon emission and waste material savings that come by virtue of its renewable energy production, BioTownAg is also currently saving more than 7,000 tons of natural mined NPK every year. But what about what's left over from the fertilizer process? Again, BioTownAg leaves nothing to waste. Among the water and solids that remain when the fertilizer is extracted, some of the water is returned to the digester to dilute the material coming in, and some is used for irrigation, while the solids are returned to the beef barns to be used for bedding. With all that, BioTownAg's complete model of sustainability begins to come into focus. Back out in the fields where BioTown's fertilizers are applied, farmers grow and harvest silage and forage crops that make their way back to BioTownAg, where they're mixed with the incoming byproduct from corporate food companies, which is then fed to the livestock, and on the cycle goes, making the entire sophisticated operation literally a soil-to-soil closed-loop process of providing food and fuel for the outside world. But the story, the innovation, doesn't stop there. At BioTownAg, perhaps what is most exciting is the ambition, the drive to forever seek new ways to improve efficiency and, yes, extract even more value from waste, further venturing out into the otherwise uncharted territory of sustainability in agriculture. It sees the potential to develop a retail potting soil product, or perhaps add a greenhouse to the operation for the sale of vegetables. Meanwhile, technical and executive leadership are exploring investment possibilities in new, even bigger, more visionary ideas. Possibly adding an ethanol plant someday, or even a high-nutrient fish farming operation. At the end of the day, what you're seeing here at BioTownAg truly is sustainability for the real world. However, like the real world, BioTownAg never sits still. Its pursuits and innovation are perpetual, and the operation is constantly evolving. In fact, should you ever decide to visit again in the near future, you'll likely be surprised all over again. In the meantime, for today, welcome, and we hope you enjoy your visit.